Hey guys, I just wanted to do a quick comparison between these two circular saws. Here we have a Makita that uses two 18-volt batteries to combine into a 36 volt, and we have a Milwaukee that uses one 18-volt battery. This is model 2834. Both of them are 7 inches and a quarter, and they're both really great saws. There are definitely some differences between them. So for example, the Makita, I like the safety switch here. You can't pull the trigger unless you push this button from either side with your thumb. So you push that in, and then there's no batteries here, so it won't operate, but push this in from either side and then you can pull the trigger. You can just pull the trigger without pushing the button in. Whereas here on Milwaukee, there's this safety switch that stays fixed in whatever setting you put it in. So right now it's unlocked and you can operate it. If you lock it, you cannot operate it. So for me, that's a few times I forgot to lock it, and then I tried to lift it up to carry it with my hands full with other things, and I accidentally feel like activating the switch. So it was definitely a concern to me. But this was pretty straightforward. From either side, you push it in, and when you push it in, it unlocks the trigger. The other thing was the depth adjustment. My favorite thing about the Makita saw is the depth adjustment. It has this lever here, so to adjust the depth, you lift up this lever, and then you can set the depth to whatever you want it to be. There's a red mark over here on this black piece that shows what the depth is on these. There are these numbers in black on a white background, so it's very clear, relatively easy to see compared to the Milwaukee, and easier to move up and down. The Milwaukee was getting a little stuck for me when I moved up and down, and it's hard to read the numbers on the Milwaukee versus on the Makita. It's so much easier to see the numbers, and when you set it to whatever number you want it to be, you can push it down quickly and lock it in, and you're good to go. Versus on the Milwaukee, there's this lever here. So right now it's locked. To unlock it, sometimes you have to pull hard, and then when you adjust the depth, it tends to, at least my side tends to get sometimes a little stuck here and there, so requiring more force. But the depth numbers are not marked as clear. They're in gray, just these like extruded marks, the same paint color as the rest of the housing, so it's hard to see them sometimes. So there's that difference, and then you have to hold it still while reaching over and pushing this to lock it. So not as intuitive as the Makita. The other thing is, when I was operating the Makita, it vibrates very minimally. It felt very, very smooth, so I'm guessing they probably use nice bearings there, or something about their design, which the Milwaukee, definitely you feel the vibration when you use this one, and then you use this one, you definitely notice the vibration, which feels a little bit substantial. And also when you start and stop, the Milwaukee tends to tilt a little, which the Makita not as much, or very little. The dust control I like on the Makita more. It seems that there's less particles flinging out of here. It seems like the shield seemingly blocks just a little bit more than Milwaukee over here on the front. And the dust exhaust port is a little bit bigger than the Milwaukee, but the Makita seems to be less particles flinging out this way and hitting me in my face, which I wear safety goggles anytime I use them, but still sometimes the particles can bounce off your face and still get under the safety goggles. With the Milwaukee, if you're from that angle, you can see that it's more exposed over here, so the particles just fly out. The other thing that I liked about the Makita is the blade wrench is set over here. It's a hex wrench. You just pull it out, and you loosen the blade and do what you got to do. You can put it back here, put it back there. Over on the Milwaukee, the blade wrench is this kind, and one of the issues that I've run into is sometimes if you don't slide it in like perfectly flat, if it goes up, then it jams on top of these springs that are locking it, and you have to make sure you're sliding it perfectly flat, otherwise it'll jam like that if it sits on top of those springs versus in between. So those are the advantages the Makita has, but the advantages that the Milwaukee has, it did feel a little bit more powerful than the Makita. It didn't seem to make a whole lot of difference in terms of cutting, but it did seem to maintain its speed better. Whereas the Makita slowed down a bit. I don't know if that's because it's underpowered or if it's part of the design that they have, supposedly where they increase the torque at low when the RPM drops. So I don't know if that's a strength or it's a feature of Makita to slow down and apply more torque. The other thing that Milwaukee seems to have an advantage with is it is a little bit lighter. When I used 8 amp forged battery, it was about almost a quarter pound lighter than when I use 2 5 amp hour Makita batteries here. And I would say 8 amp hour forged battery is the minimum you want to go on this thing because it's a beast. You can see how giant the motor is on this thing compared to the Makita. That's I think that's about it. Well, I just got a bunch of triple stack plywood with both. I just did a lot of cuts, just cut sliver after sliver several times over. So I will show that next, and you can see how they perform for yourselves. But that's all I've noticed.